the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, seeing Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura defeating the New Day and stripping them of their gold once more. This was everything you would hope from a Cesaro and the New Day match. Doesn't matter who Cesaro's partner is, except for this time it's Shinsuke, and that just adds some more butter to it.
Right, you know he's going to come through.
Yeah,
he's
this was
for Cesaro.
This was probably as good as any New Day Usos pay-per-view match. This was a lot of fun. You know, tables and all these men excel at entertaining us when it comes to stipulation matches, even though they're not technically stipulation match people.
Yeah, they're not known as like maybe hardcore people, but I think for sure, especially New Day and Cesaro, I could say that, yeah, they do excel in random stipulation matches. They can really they're creative. How's that? They're creative.
Yes. And Cesaro's really great with in-ring thinking on the fly. And the changes he makes are usually go over well backstage. So that's a plus. Cesaro
reminds me of Chris Kanyon back in the day, where he just comes up with so much offense. It seems like on the fly, and he can do different stuff. Sometimes it's just slightly different, but he can do different stuff almost every time, and you're just like, where did he come up with that? And how come I haven't seen that 75 times before? Because it seems like everybody would have done that, and I don't remember ever seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's the guy, you know, if somebody goofs and a spot's completely fucked up, he's the one that everybody looks to kind of get the match back online. And I think he needs more recognition in this company. But that's never going to happen. And it's really sad.
Yeah, he's where he's going to get in this company.
And the problem is he's probably really cool with the money, so he ain't going to go nowhere.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing for him, but it sucks for us as the fans.
It does. I would love to see him anywhere else being used properly. But this match was great. Cesaro and Nakamura walked away, the new champions. And Big E and Kofi looked pretty irritated about it at the end. Also, Big E had an interview this week. I didn't quite read it, but he had been talking about the New Day splitting. And, you know, with Xavier being out for so long, if they were going to split it, it should sour between the two members who are there trying to do this all on their own. You know what I mean? When they're a unit. That would make sense.
I could see that.
But at the same point, I don't want them to break up. They said they weren't going to break up, and I want them to do what they want in WWE. Or I want them all to get out of WWE and go somewhere else and do better.
I would love them to be lifers. I know they didn't start as lifers, but they started back in 2014, Paystee. And in today's wrestling world, especially in today's WWE,
it's a long time.
That's 6 years ago. So for 6 years, these guys have been together without even that many hints of breaks-ups. I mean, They kind of here and there, but nothing that ever gained any momentum.
At the point of 6, you should really go for 10, right? That's like a storied thing, and then it breaks up. That means something.
Right? Or you go until one of them retires, which would probably be Kofi Kingston, and then the other two end up breaking up, and you find out he was the glue that held them together. Then they have a match where he's the referee, and, you know, kind of do that kind of stuff.
Yes. Yep. No, this was a solid match. One of my 2 favorite matches of the night. I'm going to say that right off the bat here.
It does look like, just going down this list, they gave every match a decent amount of time. I will say I would kind of like, after looking at all of the times of the matches, this match had the least of any match on the main card, and I would kind of hope the tables match had a little more. But even at 10:25, with that being the least amount, I mean, we've seen 2-minute or less matches on pay-per-view. Right. So they gave everybody time to work.
And it was a very solid, fast-paced way to start the show. It worked very well. And I guess I didn't even really notice a difference in length between this and other matches when watching it. It was good. I loved it. It should have been longer. That would have been good, too. It could have been the 20-minute match, because that one wasn't worth it. But we'll get to that soon, as we have the first chapter in that story coming up next with the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line, seeing Bayley defeat Nikki Cross. Bayley had Banks at the ringside. Nikki Cross had Alexa Bliss at ringside. Alexa Bliss really didn't do all that much, but you bet Banks did. With a distraction to the ref, she slipped Bayley the knucks at the end, and she was able to punched Nikki Cross on the gut, I'm pretty sure is what it was, and that was enough for Bayley to hit the Bayley to belly and get the pin.
They're the heels, so I guess if one second is going to do more than the other, it should be the heels. So that's good storytelling. So
have one of these matches on a pay-per-view, not both of them, please. That's where I sit. It was a good match. Nikki Cross has this weird thing, like she rushes into attack and she moves really fast in the ring, which looks good, but when everybody else is moving at a WWE pace, it makes her look really green, and I don't think that's a good look on her. I know she's better than that. I guess they're probably pinning her as the new girl underdog in this story, though. So, I don't know. I don't like what they're doing with Nikki Cross. I don't like that she's still a face. I don't like that she's still with Alexa Bliss.
Right.
It is what it is. This match was pretty okay though, as far as I have to say. Yeah. Then we had the eye for an eye match. Seth Rollins defeating Rey Mysterio by removing his eyeball, Fat Mack.
And Paystee, how did
they
he
watched
go?
AEW do this, and they're like, no, we got to take it up a notch.
How did he end up removing his eyeball, Paystee?
Well, it's a journey to get there, Fat Mack, because in this match, it's basically an Extreme Rules match. Anything goes. There's no pinfall, submission, count out. The only way to win is by removing your opponent's eye. And believe me, they said that about 40,000 times in this match.
I don't know why, but for some reason that works in some promotions for me, but in WWE it just seems
and it sucks because Samoa Joe's on commentary, and I know he's good at commentary, but Vince has got him saying it over and over again. And I'm like, dude, Vince, he's a wrestler. He knows what wrestling is. He doesn't need to explain it enough times that you assume he's explaining it to himself. But, this match, it was okay for the most part. The finish was stupid, especially since throughout the match we saw kendo sticks broken and used to attempt to gouge eyes out. We saw ice pick out and attempted to stab into the eye. We saw quite a few sick ways to pull an eyeball out of a head. But this match ended when Seth Rollins shoved Rey Mysterio's eye onto the corner of the steel steps. Much like you've seen done, at least once every other week in professional wrestling?
What even would have at least been better is if he did the curb stomp on it.
Yeah, that didn't happen.
To at least bring some of his character into it. And I'm going to ask you, because I don't know this, how did we know that he lost? Like, did we see a fake eyeball? Did we just...
there was like a little bit of white something between cracks and Rey Mysterio's fingers. Like his eye, he covered his eye the whole time, which was dumb.
Right. Well, yeah, but we knew he would.
And you saw maybe it was like a white balloon that was like partially inflated inside of his hand. And they're like, it's out, ring the bell, it's over.
Okay, so they did at least attempt to show that something happened. Barely. You really had to look, and I rewound it to be like, what? Because I had heard they were using CGI and going to go all out with it leading up to it. Should have. I mean, I probably would have mocked them for that, but at the same time, in this...
they went super overboard with the entrance CGI this pay-per-view. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
That's been kind of getting out of hand for me, but I get it because it's way cheaper than pyro.
It is, but...
And it adds
for big shows like the Big Four, Big Five. That's cool, but I don't know. It's stupid. I think it takes away from the entrance itself because you got something covering it.
I think it. I agree with you that it does, and it's an obvious glaring. But I also think possibly if they keep it up 5 years from now, it's just going to seem normal to us. You know what I mean? Whether that's a good or bad thing, I don't know.
Also, to end this match, after Mysterio's eye's out and he's just covering his eye, and it was really dumb, Seth Rollins is like, "Oh shit," and then turns around and fake vomits all over the floor.
Oh,
so you're not even. He didn't even do like a good heel finish where like he's proud that he took Rey Mysterio's eye out.
He should have put it in his mouth.
He like had. I think he threw some oatmeal in his mouth and got it wet, and then just kind of spit it on the floor. That's what it looked like. It was dumb.
Not cool.
Yeah. No.
I kind of hope that they have him on. Well, I guess I don't know. I didn't see Raw or SmackDown or whatever. I'm not even sure what he's on, but they should have Rey Mysterio come out with a mask that like covers his one eye.
He had a cover over his eye because Seth went after his eye the other week. That's how this match got started, I guess. Took out one of his eyes on the thing, on the corner of the stairs, same way. But this time he managed to pull his eye out with it. He just poked his eye the last time with it. It was.
This just seems lamer the more I try to make it.
It wasn't. I was hoping for better, and there was so many good ways you could have taken out an eye.
Was there? Can I ask this? Was there blood?
No.
God, that really takes away from it, doesn't it?
Yeah, very much.
You can't take an eye out and not have blood. I mean, you can in real life, but in a wrestling match, like blood is
right.
like 3 steps below taking an eye out.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, taking an ear off is above that.
And I would love for anybody to explain to me how shoving somebody's eye onto a triangle-shaped corner steel stair is going to remove the eyeball from the head.
I'm trying to think of it. Who is the one that lost an eyeball in real life? Big Van Vader. Big Van Vader versus oh shit! Why can't I think of the blind guy? Stan Hansen.
There you go.
In Japan, I believe it was Big Van Vader versus Stan Hansen, and Stan clocked him with a hard ass right hook. And Stan Hansen was legally blind. He had both eyes, but his vision was horrible, and he just went in there and he fought you, and you just tried to keep away from him and sell.
It was back before they had contact lenses.
And he clocked the shit out of Big Van Vader, and Big Van Vader's eye popped straight out of his head. And he literally went into the corner, and the ref had to hold Stan Hansen back while he kind of slopped it back in.
Just like a disjointed arm.
Yeah, he just slopped it back in. It's just like, that's fucking old school wrestling.
Happens all the time.
That's old school wrestling, you know, because then he finished the match, you know.
Rey Mysterio didn't. He cried and walked away.
I know. It takes a lot away when you know that in real life wrestlers have lost eyes in matches.
Oh, the thing was, it was dumb because he had like a cap over his mask because he was like, I'm not going to be like John Moxley and play with a fucking eye patch the whole time.
Right.
So he had this cap on, and it was like Velcroed to his mask, and eventually Seth ripped it off because that was the eye he was going to take out because it was the eye he already injured. And Mysterio's got a white contact in. Like,
oh, of course. That actually makes sense. They should do that, I guess. They did that when when Jake the Snake got sprayed by Rick Martel's spray? I think it was. They had Jake the Snake come out with white contacts in, and he quote unquote couldn't see. I believe that's what it is. I could be making it up. It was something like that. It was with Rick Martel's spray, and I think it was Jake the Snake. But I mean, I don't dog him for doing the contact things. I mean, that's what you do in TV, and that's what you do in movies. And WWE makes TV and movies. It doesn't make wrestling shows, right?
It's really sad.
Sad.
If they make TV movies, not wrestling shows, why do we talk about them at all?
Because the majority of our listeners watch it.
That's really fun to make fun of, too.
It is.
So then we have the Raw Women's Championship, seeing Asuka defending her title against Sasha Banks, which ended as a no contest, but not really. The match went on for a while, Bayley getting a little bit involved. I think actually, did Bayley get... No, Bayley didn't get kicked out. She was always at ringside. And eventually Asuka went for the green mist on... I think she was going for it on Bayley because she was interfering, and Bayley